So my struggle with loneliness really started in high school when I felt like I wasn't a part of any true community. I had a lot of friends and I was around a lot of people all the time, but I never felt truly known. And I was a believer, but I wasn't really following Christ, and so I just felt like I was very lost. I started partying because of that to try and fit into the groups that I was in more and see if that was going to help my struggle with loneliness, but that only made it worse, and it kind of made the chasm of the hole of loneliness in my life even deeper, and created even more issues than what the loneliness started as.
My struggle with loneliness started definitely when I came to TCU. Growing up, I was really lucky to have really supportive parents that if I didn't have somewhere to go on a Friday night, I could hang with them, and it didn't seem out of the ordinary. But when I moved to Texas from New Jersey, it was a really big transition. I didn't know anybody, and I was really just looking for community. But it was really hard because I didn't necessarily take the traditional kind of TCU path of doing recruitment or things like that, and so there were often times when what I dreaded the most, and that was to be alone, and it was definitely a hard transition into college life.
My darkest moment when it came to loneliness was when I moved to TCU. I was super excited and I really wanted to find the community that I was looking for, but I didn't, and I felt really lonely and lost, and being in a new place alone was really hard, and I got into a really tough relationship, and I started drinking more, and I really spiraled into some deep depression my freshman year, and it was really lonely. It was really hard and sad.
I guess my lowest point with loneliness is when I would end up being alone on a Friday night, not really knowing what to do. I would end up going to bed super early just because I didn't have anything to do, and I didn't want to kind of sit in that loneliness. I didn't want to embrace it and kind of figure out where to go from there. I was more focused on, man, I'm sad and this just is not fun. And so definitely weekends freshman year were really difficult.
I've been a believer since I was a really young girl, and I think I truly found Christ when I came back to Doxology. There was a girl who met me during what's called Reach Week, my first week of freshman year, who had invited me to encounter and to be a part of that community, and instead of embracing that, I pushed it away. Now knowing I pushed Christ away, but then I just felt like it wasn't the community for me. Once I was really deep into the depression, I finally said yes to her after she kept asking me, and got involved with that community and had the gospel shared with me again about how Christ is always there for you and how he is a forever companion, and just loves you so deeply. And that changed my heart and my entire life. I would not be the same without it, or with the people who are willing to press into my life and share even when I push them away.
The gospel impacted my struggle with loneliness because it reminded me that I wasn't alone. One night when I was really struggling, I called my mom, and she reminded me of Joshua 1:9. It says, have I not commanded you, do not be dismayed nor discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you always. And it just reminded me that I wasn't alone, and God was with me even if I was physically alone, and that gave me a lot of comfort. It allowed me to embrace times of loneliness as opportunities to spend with the Lord, which I wasn't doing before. And now I find myself wanting to carve out those lonely times as times that I can spend with Jesus. And it's really just shifted my entire perspective of how I kind of look at those times where I might not have a friend to hang out with, or if it's dinner alone, I can spend that time with Jesus.
I mean, Jesus was the answer to my loneliness. But Christian community was really helpful in that they stood next to me when I was struggling, and they helped me up when I wasn't doing well, and they cheered for me when I was doing better than I thought I would be. They were people to stand around me and to love me, and for me to love and spend time with. And it made such a difference because our lives were focused around Christ rather than anything else. And when your foundation is the same, it just makes the structure of your friendship and your community so much better and so much greater.
Christian community has really helped me in my struggle because it's provided me with friends that have had similar journeys and experiences, and they're able to speak truth into my life. So knowing that I'm not a burden to hang out with, but rather a joy, and getting to walk through our faith together has been such a blessing. And to know that I'm wanted and people want to spend time with me has just been so incredible, and really has helped me get through those times that are a little bit more difficult, because I know I can lean on my friends and say, hey, I'm struggling right now, we don't need to hang out, but just kind of I would appreciate prayers or something like that. Really goes a long way for me.
I want you to answer like it's all great and magical, because that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen until heaven, to be honest with it's probably gotten better, but it's probably not been perfect.
Yeah. Loneliness has gotten better in the sense of like I have such deep ties to the community here at Doxology and at Encounter specifically. I love these people, but it's not easy. I mean, I still struggle with loneliness. I still struggle with feeling like I'm alone or feeling like no one understands what I'm going through. But especially with Christ on my side, I know that he understands and he's always there for me. To vent to listen to, right? He has so much wisdom for me, and I can go to the people in my community and in my Christian community, and they'll help me through the tough times and cheer me through the great times.
Now I have a lot of peace in the lonelier times, because I know I can lean on the Lord, and he's always with me, and the greatest friend I could ever want. And it's an opportunity in a really hectic schedule, senior year, kind of balancing, figuring out what I'm going to do with my life and classes and social life. There are times that I do find myself alone, and it's quite startling at times, because you're like, whoa, I'm not doing anything. Something must be wrong. I'm not with people. What am I doing wrong? But I just need to always remind myself that God is with me, and I can use those opportunities of being alone to grow closer to him, which is such an incredible blessing. And I'm so thankful to have that realization and to know that I'm never alone. The Holy Spirit is within me, and will get me through those harder times. And I've also really learned that it's okay to kind of experience the sadness and not push that away, as hard as that is, right? I don't like to be sad, no one does. But knowing that I can say, hey God, I'm sad, and I'm going to sit in this, and I'm going to give it to you, and then the joy I get out of that is just so much greater than suppressing it, and not kind of acknowledging the feeling for what it is.